What's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is an album reaction, and it's featuring the music of Genesis. The album is A Trick of the Tail. Before I pop this off, man, I just want to give a shout out and a thanks to Walkin' Wounded.64. He says, Genesis, A Trick of the Tail is the first album with Phil singing, and he's not doing well health-wise right now, so this could be a tribute to Mr. Collins. Yeah, absolutely. First album I ever owned by them, and they were still a four-piece, as they had guitarist Steve Hackett on it. Yeah, now I heard recently, just in passing news-wise, that Phil Collins officially retired from being a musician, and he says that his life, especially as a drummer, is over. And I know that he's suffering from issues with his hands and his forearms and wrists, but I believe that according to this, perhaps he has more health conditions that I'm probably not fully aware of. I got to look into exactly the extent of his physical challenges. I'm not quite sure. But in any case, man, let this be a tribute to Phil Collins, and let's check this out. This is what I still consider to be early Genesis, even though at this point, Peter Gabriel had just departed, and then Phil Collins came in. This is the next album after that. It's still in their somewhat early stages. I don't think that this is when they got into the 80s and changed their sound to a little bit more of a commercial sound. So I believe that they're still in their progressive rock stage here. So let's do this, man. This will be side one. We'll pause, and then we'll hit up side two. Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. Let's get it. Cheers.
Crosses are blue, your friends didn't make it through. Out of the night and out of the dark, into the fire and into the fight. Well, that's the way the heroes cracking Mother Earth, blazing hot, the molten rock spills out over the land. And the love is the lover who licks your boots away. Hey, you don't want to boil as well, but better start the dance. Do you wanna dance with me? You better start doing it right. Music's playing, the notes are right, but your left foot first and move into the light. The edge of this hill is the edge of the world, and if you're gonna cross, you better start doing it right. Better start doing it right. You better start doing it right. Let the dance begin.
Can you imagine being there, seeing them perform this live? That'd be an awesome song to hear live.
When you're asleep, they may show you aerial views of the ground. Friday in slumber, empty of sound. Over the rooftops and houses, lost as it tries to be seen. Fields of incentive covered with green. Mesmerized children now playing, meant to be seen but not heard. Stop me from dreaming, don't be absurd. If we can help you, we will. You're looking tired and ill. As I count back still. Madrigal music is played, voices can faintly be heard. Please leave this patient undisturbed. Sentenced to drift far away now. Nothing is quite what it seems. Sometimes entangled in your own dreams. If we can help you, we will. Soon as you're tired and ill, with your consent we can experiment further still. Well,
You know what I'm thinking about?
thanks to our kindness and
Listen
skill,
to this.
you have no trouble until
Saints talking
you
to
catch your breath and the nurse will present you the bill.
trying to help him to overcome his dark passenger. So I'm envisioning him sitting in a room with a whole bunch of shrinks, trying to help break him out of his dark passage into bring him into the light, something like that. If you haven't seen Dexter, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. How's this effect where I can just take it out? Alright, man. Well, I won't say only, but it's very, very strong. Are they hunting like a deer or something? Bread in one hand and a rock in the other? Yeah, he's not using the same methods of regular hunting.
Walking home at night, the sag across my back, the sound of sobbing on my shoulder, and suddenly it stopped. I opened up the sack, all that I had, a pool of bubbles and tears, just a pool of tears. Just a pool of all in all, you are a very dying race, placing trust upon our cruel world. You never had the things you thought you should have had, and you'll not get them now. And all the while in perfect time, the tears are falling on the ground.
He's hunting a very rare, rare animal. So did he let it go? Is that the end of the song? Damn.
Was it summer when the river ran dry? Or was it just another dam? When the evil of a snowflake in June could still be a source of relief. Oh, how I love you, I once cried long ago. But I was the one who decided to go to search beyond the final crest, though I'd heard it said just birds could dwell so high. So I pretended to have wings for my arms and took off in the air. I flew to places which the clouds never see, too close to the deserts of sand, where 1,000 mirages, the shepherds of lies, forced me to land and take a disguise. I would welcome a horse's kick to send me back, if I could find a horse not made of sand. If this desert's all there'll ever be, then tell me what becomes of me. A fall of rain, there must have been another of your dreams, a dream of man, moon. death. They pray for thunder, clouds, and rain. But to the multitude who stand in the rain, heaven is where the sun shines. The grass will be greener till the stems turn to brown, and thoughts will fly higher till the earth brings them down. Forever caught in desert lands, one has to learn to disbelieve the sea. If this desert's all there'll ever be, then tell me what becomes of me. A fall of rain, that must have been another of your dreams, a dream of
So am I getting it right about this song that he was forced to leave his place of dwelling and he just can't find another appropriate settlement, and the elements are not on his side? Is that? I feel that I'm missing a really, really big chunk of this song here. But you know what? That's the mental exercise, the visual exercise that is called for when you listen to progressive rock, isn't it? And sometimes you're right on it, you get it, and sometimes you're just way, way off, man. And it's a hit and miss where it comes to these songs for me. Sometimes I'm totally on it, and a lot of the times I'm way off. But it's fun all the same to try and go through, try and get the visual, what it is that the artist is trying to get you to see and portray. And it's fun to me. You know, I know that some people don't like that sort of thing. They prefer their music to be simple and less complex, but I don't mind. I mean, I can't listen to it every single damn day, progressive rock that is, but yeah, I really actually do like the cerebral trip that it takes you on and what it makes you visualize. So hey, it's all good, man. They certainly have that aspect going for them. You know, despite missing Peter and not having his presence and his input or whatnot, this is a really, really good coming out for them. It's giving them that stamp that yes, they are really, really good accomplished musicians, and they are just as capable with or without Peter to produce something really, really cool. And sticking with the progressive rock genre, that must have been quite I don't know, easy or challenging, hard to say. It would be interesting to hear their spin on things. But yeah, so far it's doing the trick, man. It's definitely sticking with the genre, and it's very, very good. Their musicianship is on point. So let's call this the end of side one. Let's come back and then we'll hit up side two. See you in a sec. Okay, everybody, here we are, man, back again. We are hitting up side two of A Trick of the Tail, Genesis' first progressive rock album after the departure of Peter Gabriel. So far, so good, man. Everything is on point here. Their tales that they're telling, the musicianship, those nice, long, stretched out instrumental breaks making the songs epic. all of those great ingredients of a great progressive rock album is there. So with that said, let's hit up side 2, Trick of the Tail. Let's get it.
The streets were deserted, though the police were alerted. They considered the phone call a hoax. Furtively glancing, then jauntily prancing, the youth caught the guards unaware. Slipping between them, we ought to have seen them, the eyes and their owners so near. With torch shining bright, he strode on in the night till he came to the room with the safe. Hello,
It's a cool story being told there.
Bluebells come in every size. Some are wise and some otherwise. They got pretty blue eyes. For now a man may change. For now her face looks strange. Looks strange, looks strange. Marching to the promised land, where the honey flows and takes you by the hand, pulls you down on your knees, while you're down a pool appears. The face in the water looks up, and she shakes her head as if to say that it's the last time you'll look like today. Sail away, away. Rivers never come back. Down to the other side. Sail away, away. The face that launched 1,000 ships is sinking fast. That happens, you know. The water gets below. Seems not very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. Angels never know it's time to close the book and gracefully decline. The song has found a tale. My, what a jealous fool is she. The face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say that the bluebells have all gone away. Sail away, away. Rivers never come back. They've gone to the other side. Look into the pool.
Still feel a lot of presence from Peter Paper in these songs.
Dive to the bottom and go to the top to see where they go. All the gone to the other side.
The reason they were successful there is because there was so much of a departure. And if it was planned by them, that's very smart planning. Still using the same formula of success. It's about getting old, enjoying your youth while you have it. I guess everybody hits the wall at some point. The wall's unkind. That was a great one. Probably my favorite on the album so far.
Bored of the life in the city of gold, he'd left and let nobody know. Gone were the towers he had known from a child, along with the dream of a life. He traveled the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another to share in his life. But nowhere, everyone looked so strange to him. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? They cried and wept as they led him away to a cage. Beasts that can talk read the sign. The creatures they pushed and they prodded his frame and questioned his story again. But soon they grew bored of their prey, the beast that can talk, more like a freak or publicity stunt. Oh, no. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and broke down the door of the cage and marched on out. He grabbed the creature by the scruff of his neck, pointing out, beyond the bounds of your weak imagination lie the noble towers of my city, bright and gold. Let me take you there, show you a living story. Let me show you others such as me. Why did I ever leave? They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and wept. And so we set out with the beast and his horns and his crazy description of home. After many days' journey we came to a peak where the beast gazed abroad and cried out. We followed his gaze and we thought that maybe we saw a spire of gold. No, a trick of the eye, that's all. But the beast was gone and a voice was heard. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance?
Trying to visualize what the beast would look like. What a cool story. That was a cool story. Story and song. that concludes Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. Great album, man. Very, very good. First outing without the presence of Peter Gabriel. They've done very, very good with this, man. Every single song was excellent. I would listen to the whole thing all the way through without any skipping or anything like that. I really dig Ripples. A Trick of the Tail was a great, great story. And I can see what the creature actually looks like, paying more closer attention to the album cover. Great story there, man. What a great story. Fantastic framework for a movie or something like that. Wouldn't that be interesting? So, let's call this the end of side 2, the end of the album. Let's come back and let's do a little background. Check out the review, see what these guys had to go through with that transition from Peter to Phil being the lead singer going forward. All right, see you in the review. Genesis, A Trick of the Tail, is the 7th studio album by English progressive rock band Genesis. It was released in February of '76 on Charisma Records and was the first album to feature drummer Phil Collins as lead vocalist following the departure of Peter Gabriel. It was a critical and commercial success in the UK and US, reaching number 3 and number 31 respectively. Wow, reaching very high in Europe, wow. Following Gabriel's decision to leave the band, the remaining members wanted to carry on and show they could still write and record successful material. The group wrote and rehearsed new songs during mid-75 and listened to numerous audition tapes for a replacement frontman. I heard this story before, how Phil was kind of like, leading prospective frontmen through their paces and everything. And in the end, the rest of the band realized that, hey, Phil is a better frontman candidate than everybody else. So you're going to be frontman. And he's like, nope, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are, or you're out of the band. Something like that. They entered Trident Studios in October with producer David Henschel to record the album without a definitive idea of who was going to perform lead vocals. After the search for a singer proved unfruitful, Collins was persuaded to sing Squonk, and the performance was so strong he sang lead on the rest of the album. Upon release, critics were impressed by the improved sound quality and the group's ability to survive the loss of Gabriel without sacrificing the quality of the music. Yeah, I made mention of that, everything, it was still there. There was still a constant from, let's say, one previous album to another. It didn't seem like they really missed too much where it comes to quality. And the singing styles and the singing signature of the two singers were very complementary. Peter could easily have basically sang lead on this album and, Phil with the other previous Peter Gabriel work. So that transition was a very, very easy and smooth transition. It's as if John Lennon would stop singing lead vocals and, let's say, put in George Harrison to sing lead. It would be a smooth and easy transition and not too far away. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's how I see it. The group went out on tour with Collins as frontman and Bill Bruford as an additional drummer, and the resulting performances in the US raised Genesis' profile there. The album has been reissued on CD several times, including a deluxe package with bonus tracks in 2007. Okay, so that's the intro. Let's get into some more detail. So, background. Founding member and lead singer Peter Gabriel decided to leave Genesis in late '74, midway through the tour for the album The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. His bandmates hoped he would reconsider, as they were still in debt and felt that his departure could destroy the band's future, but ultimately accepted that he would leave. His final concert before leaving Genesis was on the 22nd of May in '75 in France. The remaining members felt they still wanted to collaborate musically and showed journalists and critics they were primarily a songwriting team that could still produce good music. keyboardist Tony Banks had been close to Gabriel personally and did not want the band to split up, on top of seeing less of one of his best friends. He had written a number of songs for a possible solo project before deciding they should be used on the new Genesis album. Following the end of the tour, guitarist Steve Hackett recorded a solo album, Voyage of the Acolyte, with guitarist bassist Mike Rutherford and drummer Phil Collins, feeling unsure that Genesis would survive. He reconvened with the remaining group members in July of '75. Banks and Rutherford were particularly keen to write and record new material so that critics and fans would accept Gabriel's departure. The group began rehearsals in the basement studio in Acton and quickly wrote material they were happy with, but had not yet found a replacement lead singer. So let's go back in time. Some of you old cats, man, you were back then, you were fans of Genesis with Peter going out and Phil coming in. How did you feel about that? Did you have, well, you were probably very disappointed and you were saying, yep, that's definitely the end of a great band and, they'll not do. What were your feelings? What did you think of the whole process from hearing about Peter's departure, your feelings about that, hearing about Phil filling that void, and then their first album? How did you feel throughout that whole process? Let me know if you remember all of that back then. Oh man, where the hell was I? They placed an anonymous advertisement in the music paper Melody Maker for a singer for a Genesis-type group, which received around 400 replies. Wow. Some applicants sent photos of themselves in costume and wearing masks, as Gabriel had done on stage. A few weeks into rehearsals, Melody Maker managed to find out about Gabriel leaving the band, and their story made the front page of the 16th of August issue, where journalist Chris Welch declared Genesis dead. The group spoke to the music papers to deny they were splitting up and explained they had a new album written and waiting to be recorded. Yeah, journalists can really throw a monkey wrench in your plans, can't they? All of these prodding people can't keep your news to themselves, that sort of thing. Recording began in Trident Studios in October of '75 with producer David Henschel. On previous Genesis albums, Henschel had served as tape operator and later as engineer. Collins had become a fan of his album Startling Music, re-recording of Ringo Starr's album Ringo on an ARP 2500 synth. Collins thought the group could carry on as an instrumental act, but the others felt that it would be boring without vocals. The group had still not decided on a replacement singer, so they decided to start recording backing tracks and audition singers as they went. Gabriel visited the band in the studio and listened to the album and thought they had succeeded in proving to others that they were still a whole strong band without me, he says. He knew that the group could write strong material, but the little effort it took them surprised him the most. Yeah, there you go. Everybody's replaceable. And sometimes with the departure of one element, that is, the missing ingredient to propel you to success. But just as equally with one element leaving, it could be subject to your demise. It just depends on polarity, the time, all of these different factions. You just never know. But I think that it's just showing that yes, he was meant to leave. He wasn't meant to be with them forever for the long run. And they both ended up being very, very successful. And Peter was where he needed to be because I know that he had a family crisis. I think he had a sick daughter, something like that, so he definitely needed to be home. Some songs, such as Ripples, were written with the intention that Collins could sing them, similar to More Fool Me on Selling England by the Pound, but he did not want to take over as a permanent replacement, opting instead to teach potential lead singers the songs. The group still wanted a regular frontman for live performances, as they thought Collins would not be able to handle all the material, and it would be problematic trying to sing Gabriel's vocal parts while drumming on tour. One of the auditionees, Mick Strickland, was invited into the studio to sing, but the backing tracks were in a key outside of his natural range, and the band decided not to work with him. Having failed to produce a suitable vocalist, Collins reluctantly went into the studio to sing Swan. His performance was well received by the band, and they decided that he should be their new lead singer. Henschel stayed on as co-producer for future Genesis albums up to 1980's Duke. Interesting story, isn't it? Reception. A Trick of the Tail had a positive reception from music critics who were impressed that the group could not only survive the loss of Gabriel but still deliver a good album. The sound quality had improved from previous albums as a result of Henschel's production skills. The album reached number 3 in the UK, remaining on the charts for 39 weeks, and number 31 in the US. It was certified gold in the UK by the British phonographic industry in June, and in the US by the RIAA in March of 1990. The album remained in the UK charts for 39 weeks and recouped a significant amount of the $400,000 worth of debt they had accumulated by the time Gabriel left. What was the breakdown of that $400,000 debt? Was it poor concert tickets? What was the debt? Was it more just taxes and arrears? If you guys know your history, what was that debt? Let me know. That was a lot of money back then, you know, for a group that was only around for a couple of years before that. So Genesis started in 72? And this is like late 74, and they're already 400 grand worth in debt? Damn. Let me know what the breakdown of the debt was. For the first time in their career, Genesis filmed promotional videos for their songs. The first to be filmed was the title track, which features the band playing to the song together around the piano, including a composite shot of a miniature Collins hopping around on the piano and guitar. The group also produced promotional films of Ripples and Robbery, Assault, and Battery. Tours. Even after the album had been completed, Collins was unhappy about leaving the drum kit to sing lead, and the band were unsure he would be comfortable as frontman on tour. The group decided to try anyway and needed someone to drum while Collins was singing. Collins insisted on choosing the touring drummer himself, selecting Bill Bruford, with whom he had already worked in Brand X. Collins continued to drum during instrumental sections. Yeah, those nice long instrumental pieces. The new lineup rehearsed in Dallas for a North American tour, which began in London, Ontario. Collins was nervous about what to say to the audience between songs, so Rutherford and Hackett helped with some announcements. Unlike Gabriel's theatrical approach, Collins developed a humorous rapport with the audience, and it was immediately successful. Yeah, I remember this guy as a little bit of a jokester. Audiences were happy to hear Collins sing old material such as Supper's Ready in concert, and the resulting tour raised Genesis' profile in the US, where they had been relatively unknown while Gabriel was in the band. Yeah, timing is everything. And in the mid-70s when this came out, and technology was just taking a leap forward, concert venues were taking a leap forward, all of those things were taking a leap forward. It was not the best time for Peter to leave, but also a great opportunity for Genesis to really leap forward as well, take root and ride that wake of good fortune and all of the stuff that they had at their disposal. So timing was a very important factor in the success of Genesis at this point for sure. All right, man, so that concludes our look at the album and the history behind the album, which is just as intriguing as the music itself sometimes. You know, every album, every song has a different and unique story. It's just a question of was it recorded, you know what I mean? But I appreciate doing the background and doing the research behind it, because I appreciate it more. I appreciate the artists more. I listen to it in the future when it's on my playlist, and I can come back and recall. So all of this stuff that's in the folder, I don't get rid of, especially the information and the links. I can go straight to the link and I can reread some of this stuff, and just kind of refresh. So I never get rid of the links that you guys send me, just so you know. I always keep the links. And, I read the comments and that sort of thing, because in the comments, it really teaches you certain things, how the fans felt. And some people will say, yeah, well, I was there back in the day, and this was the environment, this was the atmosphere. That's the kind of shit I really enjoy. All right, y'all. That concludes the end of Trick of the Tail album reaction. Very, very good recommendation, Walking Wounded. So, what is coming up? As I'm posting this and you're seeing this, it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everybody. And what you'll see coming up, or what I'm really excited about, is January, the month of January. That is Artist of the Month, and that will be the great John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin, Jonesy Month, as I'm calling it. So send me whatever it is that you want me to check out, where it is featuring John Paul Jones, whether it's his Led Zeppelin stuff, focusing on something specific, whether it's his collaborations, his solo stuff down the road, documentaries, interviews, all of that sort of thing, focusing on the man, things that are helping us to kind of create in our mind's eye all of the elements that came into being to create such a masterful musician and such a great contributor to the time period of the 70s where Led Zeppelin was on top, But even the aftermath of all that, he went on to be well renowned. And I think he was on, which late night show was he on? And he was playing the mandolin, and he was introduced as one of the greatest musicians in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest musicians in the world, John Paul Jones. That sort of thing, right? So whatever kind of information you've got, send it my way. And we've got an entire month, and if it's a Jonesy reaction every single day or every other day, hey, it's all good. I'll make sure that I go through it all, man. So John Paul Jones month, January, putting everybody on notice. Send me your shit. All right. Yeah, that's it, man. Great album again, and really, really like the history of Genesis. A great example of a band and an act who had success in the 70s and successfully navigated those rapids going towards into the 80s and beyond. So really, really excellent stories of success from the band, their individual solo stuff, and even now contemporarily, they are all renowned as being great, great musicians contributing to the 70s and the 80s. So yeah, man, very, very good iconography where it comes to Genesis. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed this very much. It's going on my playlist, and definitely there are times when I'm going to be in the mood to listen to an entire progressive rock album. So this is definitely going to be one of those albums that I'll check out. Anyways, have a good one. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.